So hey there guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to analyze the Hindu newspaper dated 22 June 2024, and the important articles that catches my eye glimpse are: High Court stays the bail granted decision of trial court of Arvind Kejriwal. Recently on Thursday, the trial court granted the bail to Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, the Chief Minister of Delhi, but the High Court put stays on that. So we are going to discuss that. And then the Election Commission begins to work on polls in 3 states and Jammu and Kashmir. The 3 states that are going in state assembly polls in this year. So we are going to discuss that too. And so the next article we are going to discuss is that Supreme Court ordered no postponing of counselling date of NEET 2024 examination. So as you know, there is a scam of NEET 2024 in which a majority of paper leak was done, and this was done in different center of different states. But the Supreme Court recently says that no postponing of counselling date of NEET 2024 examination. That they are going to the counselling is going to be held in July. So there is going to be no delay or no postponing in that. And next, we are going to analyze the video section of the Hindu, and this we are going to discuss the various articles that are mentioned in that. And that today is Saturday, so the Hindu is only ground zero page in that, and we are going to also analyze it. So basically, the ground zero page mentions the famous Kannada actor. Okay, so we are going to also talk about that. So let's not waste our time and get started. Okay, so on Thursday, the trial court basically granted the bail to Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, but Enforcement Directorate laterally challenged that bail granted decision in the High Court, and court judges say till the pronouncement of this order, the operation of the impugned court of the trial court shall remain stayed, and they basically demanded 2 to 3 days as they wanted to go through the entire records. Okay, you can basically see the name of the judge, who a vacation bench of Justice Sudhir Kumar. What is the reason for the Enforcement Directorate to challenge the bail granted decision of trial court? They basically say that the agency was not given adequate opportunity to argue its case by the trial court. Okay, Additional Solicitor General S.V. Raju, that is representing the Enforcement Directorate, they say that their agency was not given adequate time on opportunity to argue their case. So Kejriwal is going to face a lot of delay in grantation of its bail. Okay. So now the next article we are going to discuss is that Election Commission begins work on polls in J&K and 3 states. Okay. So the term of the existing legislative assembly will end on 3 November, that is Haryana, and on 26 November Maharashtra, and 5th January 2025 of Uttarakhand. And polls are required to be conducted before the completion of their terms, and also for the Jammu and Kashmir, because the response of the people in J&K into the Lok Sabha Assembly election is also going to be a major decision for this. And what is the process of electoral polls, or you can say what is going to be in electoral polls? Basically, there's going to be a pre-update exercise that is going to begin on 25 June to set up or rationalize polling station allocations most convenient to electors in group housing societies, slum, city, outgrowth, and rural areas. The final electoral laws will be published on August 20. Okay, so the state legislative election of Haryana, Maharashtra, and of Jharkhand, and also for the Jammu and Kashmir. The abrogation of Article 370, that is that state that the Jammu and Kashmir be divided into two union territories of J&K. Okay, Union Territories Jammu and Kashmir, and then Union Territory of Ladakh. So the election for the Union Territory of J&K is also going to be held soon. Okay, so now let us move to another article. Okay, so now we are moving on to our another article, that is Supreme Court refuses to put off national eligibility cum address test undergraduate counseling set to begin on 6 July. Okay, so the recent NEET 2024 exam examination, that there is going to be a majority of paper leaks, or you can say allotment of grace marks for no basis. So the Supreme Court on Friday asked the NTA to respond to pleas for conducting a fresh national eligibility cum entrance test 2024 following case of question paper leaks. But they are not going to postpone the counseling date of NEET. It is going to be held on 6 July. So what does their decision says? Counseling only commences from, it will continue for a week. Meanwhile, the applicants, or you can say the NEET applicants, have many options to amend, modify. Okay, Justice Bhatti, they basically told the counsel for petitioner. I don't know what is going to be the future decision for that, but I make sure that the paper is going to be cancelled and there are going to be a re-exam for that. Okay, because it is a major scam and the NTA is sole responsible for that. The recent cancellation of the NET paper, okay, by the Education Ministry. So I also think there is going to be a cancellation for NEET paper too. Okay, just wait for the decision. So now we are moving forward with the editorial section analysis of the Hindu. So the first article is that a mandate for a new economic approach. So the result of the Indian Lok Sabha election 2024 are there, and if you haven't watched my video yet, what is going to be the reason for BJP's defeat in Uttar Pradesh? Okay, refer to that, please. And so the results are there, and the substantial drop in the number of seats won by the Bharatiya Janata Party in Uttar Pradesh, okay, which is among India's poorest and most rural states. And what was the reason for their defeat? This is basically high at a time of unemployment and persistent inflation. And if you want to know other reason, then you can refer to my video of Indian Lok Sabha election that I presented in the trending concept analysis playlist. Okay, so you can basically say that there is going to be a food price inflation for 5 years, and it is highest for cereal and pulses, which are staples. And that Uttar Pradesh is having an agrarian type of economy in which the majority of the population is dependent on the agriculture sector rather than on industrial or service sector. So for household at the bottom of the income distribution, food constitute close to half their household expenditure. Okay, and it also shows that going according to the periodic labor force survey, this also show a decline in the real earnings of regular employees and the self-employed being substantial in the case of the latter. Okay, so there is inflation in the food price, and there is going to be unemployment in the rule of Bharatiya Janata Party, not according to me but according to the survey, if you are going by the survey. Okay, so now, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United States estimate that close to 75% of the Indian population can't afford a healthy diet. Okay, so the healthy diet includes vitamins and minerals, plus you can say your adequate protein intake, daily intake. Okay, so the author basically says that the BJP government have to address the people's pressure point instead of building just highways, or you can say attracting foreign investment, moving to digital payment in all spheres, building a manufacturing sector through subsidy, and in the past year unleashing a highway construction sphere. It is all good, but you have to basically address the pressure point of the citizen and find some basic pressure point. Like for example, he says that rising price of food. Okay, there is going to be a promotion of millets agriculture has been generally neglected aspect of the Modi economic package of the last decade. Okay, so they must have to control the rising prices of food, and how does they can do it? They can do by providing the cold storage facility and good transportation for that. Okay, and also for the fruits and vegetables. And second point in the country is to be found in the Indian Railways. Its leadership appears to have got unawares by the rise in long distance migration for work, and also for the recent collision between the Kanchenjunga Express in the West Bengal. Okay, and also because of without ticket driving done by many passengers. Third pressure point is the strained water supply in our mega cities. Like for example, you had seen the video of Bangalore and Delhi witnessing severe deficits this summer. So they have to address that also. Okay, so now finalizing this article, the author wants to say that the BJP-led NDA government is focusing too much on privatization of many sectors. Okay, but some sectors require public attention too. Like for example, how a private sector is going to provide efficient transportation and steady electric supply to sewerage and waste disposal facility. Okay, so he says what that the public sector have to give attention by the government so that it can help the people at grassroots level. Okay, so now we are moving on to the another article, that is a progressive Indian policy on Myanmar outlined. So as 3 years on, the military in Myanmar, which overthrew the elected civilian government in February 2021, continues to kill, maim, and displace its own people. Okay, and India has maintained a steadfast former relation with this regime, or you can say the country which has murdered more than 5,000 people and displaced some 2.5 million people. India has maintained ties with that country. Okay, and the reason given by the Indian foreign policy scholars and practitioners are that India needs to work with the Janta if it has to protect its interest in Myanmar and not get swayed by idealistic preoccupation with values. Okay, so basically they are going to say that India is having a such relation with the country that is having a military coup there, and India with the Guru, or you can say a wild democratic country. So in this article, the author basically talks about the points which India had to consider in its foreign policy to maintain good ties with Myanmar, and also to step out of China's shadow, and also to defeat China in its own backyard. Okay, so what are the points for that? First, India needs to use its credential as the largest federal democracy in the region to sharpen its influence in Myanmar. You know that India is a well-oiled power sharing arrangement between the center and various subnational units. So it is so the author basically saying that to India has to transfer such sharing arrangement between the center and the various subnational units also to the Myanmar military coup government. Okay, so they can maintain the spirit of federal cooperation. And next he says what, that India needs to immediately halt all weapon sales to the Myanmar military. Okay, so according to advocacy group, you can basically say that India and state-owned military hardware manufacturer have sold a range of non-lethal, okay, the basically weapons are non-lethal and semi-lethal equipment to the Janta since the 2021 coup, and same weapons are used by the military coup to suppress the people of the Myanmar. Okay, so they have to basically halt providing such weapons to Myanmar. Third point, the author says that India needs to immediately open cross-border humanitarian corridors to help civilians affected by the conflict along three border provinces, that is Sanghaing region, Chin state, and North Rakhine state. Okay, but you know that India is neither a signatory of 1951 United Nations Convention Refugee Act, or neither it has passed any domestic law to help refugee there. But the author is saying that they must have to open the free movement regime. Okay, free movement regime that was suspended by the Union Home Ministry in February 2024. Okay, so that talks about basically to open such movement to help the migration of persecuted minorities there. And fourth, he said that Narendra Modi government should immediately halt the detention and deportation of asylum seekers from Myanmar. Okay, so as you know, the recent decision by the government to deport 115 asylum seekers to Myanmar, okay, because they are being persecuted in their home state and they are taking refugee in another state to protect their interests. So the government of that country must have to provide them medical aid and assistance and something like so. Okay, so he says that India, the Vishwa Bandhu, routinely claims to stand with the people of Myanmar. It should now walk the talk. Okay, but my question is that how can you say that the person that are claiming to be coming from the persecuted area are actually the persecuted one, or they are not the spies or something like that, that they are not going to cause any internal disturbance in our country also. Okay, so before providing them medical assistance, or you can say before escalating the issue, or you can say basically before uplifting them, you have to check their credential. Okay, so now we are moving on to the another article, that is testing times. The National Testing Agency needs an overhaul to regain credibility. So you know the ongoing NEET 2024 examination scam. Okay, I will totally call it as a scam because there is going to be different paper leaks in different centers of the India. Okay, I totally call it a scam examination, NEET 2024 examination, and the allotment of grace marks. Okay, and the reason mentioned are basically absurd. Okay, so now what happened? The cancellation of the UGC NET examination too. Okay, if you want to know the difference between NEET and NET examination, you can refer to my previous videos. UGC NET examination on Wednesday, just a day after its supposed conduct by the National Testing Agency, is one more load of straw threatening to break the agency's creaking reputation. Okay, so what happened? When the Education Ministry receives that there is going to be a leak in UGC NET examination paper, the Home Ministry Cybercrime Team's input, that is I444C, okay, it takes sumoto action to suspend the examination even without any formal complaints from candidates, unlike in the NEET cases. Okay, what happened in the NEET? They basically dragged its feet through committees and court cases despite multiple allegations and police complaint of paper leaks. What Education Ministry does here in the NET case, they basically suspend the examination, okay, and they call for fresh examination later in the year. So what does this mean? The question arises that examination that was being conducted online in twice a year, how is going to be shifted to the offline one, pen and paper examination, which is potentially more vulnerable to paper leaks. And second, if there is, you can say, the regional varieties in the Indian state, or you can say in Indian country, so the responsibility of conducting examination must go on that state too, because they know the regional variation there and the problems that are being faced by the regions. Okay, so this article is very important. So now the final article that I'm going to briefly analyze is your catching a falling star. Okay, I don't think it is important from an examination point of view, but I'm going to briefly analyze this. Okay, you know that he is a what famous Kannada actor naming Darshan Gudipa. Okay, and in this article, basically there is a case that you have to read if you are have any interest in murder mystery thing or just sort of things. What does that happen? Okay, there was a person that is sending obscene images to his co-star. Okay, I don't remember the name of her, but it is mentioned somewhere in the article. Okay, I'm just analyzing it. Okay, so he was sending obscene messages to his co-star on Instagram, and he was sending messages also with too many IDs star. this star basically planned a murder of that person, and this is given in this article. Okay, so I don't think it is more from your point of view, but if you want to, if you are a big fan of murder mystery things, then you can basically look into that. So I'm finishing my analysis of the Hindu newspaper today. So I'm going to meet tomorrow, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.